167 of the Hoots podcast. Hope you guys are having a wonderful week. We are about 4 days away from the G1 coming to an end and 3 days away from SummerSlam. Lots of wrestling to get into. We'll see what else comes out of our mouths this week. Hopefully you're not too easily offended these days. But anyways, welcome to the program, everybody. My name's Joshie. If this is your first time listening to the Hoots podcast, welcome. We are a podcast that likes to have fun with professional wrestling. You're not going to see us pop a blood vessel over subjective pro wrestling shows. I think we have more things to expend our energy on than just whining about why this booking is good and why that booking's bad. You know, it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. We have a lot to get into this week. I'm not alone. I'm with the Clown Prince of podcasting, the one and only Adam Daley. What's up, brother?
Josh, what's up? Been a crazy day. In and out of the at work, at the hospital, now home. Fun day. Yeah, we tried to record this earlier for anyone listening at home, but I kind of ran into a little snafu and had to take a quick trip to the ER. So, but here I am. Can't say I got home from the ER, started working again, and now here I am doing a podcast. So, get on my level, people. Or maybe I need to slow down. Maybe that's why I ended up in the hospital in the first place.
Don't say we're not dedicated, folks. Really quick, I just wanted to say really quick, I had this funny clip that you guys heard in the beginning when it came to Harley race. We got the news while we were recording the show last week that Harley passed away. And just seeing the video package he got on Raw this Monday was really cool. By the way, our condolences go out to his family, and also our condolences go out to everybody that was affected by the ridiculous shootings that are going on in Dayton, Ohio, and now Paso, Texas over the weekend. Our thoughts are with you guys. It's just really a bad reflection of where we are as a society right now, but our thoughts are with you. So. I'm
done thinking. Thoughts aren't getting us anywhere. Thoughts aren't stopping a magazine that pulls 250 rounds a minute. It's a weapon of war. It should never be in any civilian hands. Right. Listen, you guys can have your guns. I'm not against guns. I'm against those kinds of guns. And if you're that, first of all, if you want to blame mental health, explain to me why we have the highest rate of people, and I mean, there is a correlation when it comes to highest rate of people on medications, highest rate of people, but at the end of the day, blame mental health, blame video games, blame music, blame everything. But every other country in the world has the same exact things we do. We just have accessibility. That's all. So I understand that everybody feels the need to own a gun because they think that the government's coming to get them, or I'm going to be Jason Bourne and stop a shooting somewhere. I think we really need to kind of and because here's the sad thing, Josh, and this is all I'm going to say. I watched something about the shooting. I was getting nauseated, so I put on Dear White People. I'll talk to you about this. Watched the entire new season of Dear White People, including the last episode of last season, and the week's episode of Hassan Minaj last Saturday night going into Sunday morning. Yeah. And in my head, as a joke, I was like, "Well, time to put the news back on and see where else got shot up." And don't you know, there was another shooting. I want you guys to be mad at that last statement, because if that last statement cuts to the bone, it should, because this is normalcy now. This is just another day in America. This isn't the sad part. The tragedy of this tragedy is that it's not being treated as a tragedy. Period. Yeah. Welcome to America, ladies and gentlemen. No.
The only thing I wanted to mention with this is that I think a lot of issues lie where we can't realize the issue. It takes that moment where you look in the mirror and you finally figure out what's wrong. And I think maybe a small detail to other people, but for me, I think it would be more proactive if we spend more time reporting these threats that people put out on social media than trying to dig up old tweets from celebrities.
Absolutely.
It could prevent something. I'm not saying it's going to solve all the issues. When it comes to people defending guns and this, that, it's not something I want to get into right now. It's just freaking stupid.
I was going to say also, let's not connect mental health with hate. That's two totally different things. Just because you suffer from something mental health related, does not equate hate.
Right.
So, listen, I've tried to wax poetic a million different ways on this. There's still people with their tiny dicks that feel like they got to have 85 guns, and I get that. You have to make up for it somehow. T-top, Trans Am, that kind of situation. Real thick mullet, curls at the end, feeling real slick.
Right.
But it's starting to get to the point that, I don't want to hear the more guns, less crime bullshit. Not in today's world, man. Today's world, we're instant gratification, and unfortunately, it is gratification for people now. It's gratifying. These people want this done. That's why that's why they type up these agendas. That's why they type up these. It's too much for anybody to think that something doesn't have to be done.
Yes.
And by the way, just like guns can't pull themselves, mental health can't pull a trigger either. Let's not get it twisted. What happens when a child drinks too much pop? You know what you do? You dump the pop out and you don't buy it anymore, right? So unfortunately, because none of us ever want to grow up anymore in America, because we're so stuck in social media, stuck in the high school mindset, and this is good. This goes anyone from 9 to 99. We need to grow the fuck up, wake up, be responsible. It's getting sloppy, it's getting reckless, and this is turning into the countries we claim to hate here. This isn't a free land. Free guns doesn't mean free. The next person that tells me they want to see cops at schools, cops in malls, so you want to live in a police state, is what you're saying. All the people that that's all they do is talk about no police state, no police state. Now you're asking for one. Wow.
Yeah. There's a lot that we could get to. This obviously this could be a show in itself, but I live in a city that our president or our leader likes to take hot shots at every chance he can and all his supporters, but does nothing to do anything to fix it. So
you guys are unfairly used as an example because you guys aren't even ranked in the top like 15, 20 in most categories.
Yeah, I'm not trying to make this sound like we're the worst city in the United States. My issue is that he likes to make threats and keeps talking trash about the city, but he does nothing for it. You would think he would actually do something for Chicago because he has one of his stupid towers there.
Oh.
So I don't know. Anyways, let's move on. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to check out previous editions of this podcast, you can. You can subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play. You guys have been awesome as far as feedback's concerned. We're very grateful for that.
Awesome.
Adam was recently on a podcast the other night. Can you give a plug to that, good brother?
Yes, I was on with the Good Brothers, Masked Comedian X and Big Ace. Check out the Masked Comedian X podcast. I had a blast, man. I was glad I got to plug the show. Very fortunate to be a guest with them guys. Legit had a blast with them guys. They have fun on their show. I mean, we were having a good time. So make sure you give them guys a look. Check them out. Ace has been doing this for a long time now. Masked Comedian X has been doing this for a long time now in different avenues, and they're both highly, highly intelligent guys when it comes to wrestling and not, kind of having a sensible outlook on it. So I had a blast, man. So, it's definitely to make sure you check them guys out. You can find them on Twitter, Masked Comedian X. I think Big Ace 41, I believe, is Ace's handle. At least I know that's what it is on Instagram, but I'm never on Twitter, so I really don't know what people's Twitter handles are.
Yeah.
So,
me and you, we're not really big when it comes to needing our ego stroke or anything like that. We're just not those type of guys.
Nope.
It is nice though when people do give out compliments for the show. We put a lot of time into this show, and I'm very proud of the content that we've been dishing out over not only this year but the last couple years since we started doing shows again. Mm-hmm. And it gets better as the weeks go by, and your guys' support makes it worthwhile. So if we're making a positive impact on you while you're listening to the podcast to this show, then we've done our job right. And that's the fun part about the show. We're laid back. We like to crack some jokes. We don't take this stuff too seriously. We have fun. Obviously, we're having our superstar of the show, AJ, and get a different perspective on the product. And it's thanks to you guys that we keep doing the show as the weeks go by. So thank you guys for the support.
Let's keep it 100 for a second because we used to do that all the time, but I'm going to keep it 100. There isn't any other audience that I'd walk out of a hospital, come home just to do work, just so I could do a podcast. And Josh and I were talking about it. If this was an off week, maybe I would have skipped tonight, but I know SummerSlam's this weekend. I know I feel very loyal and I feel like I owe, I'm not going to lie, I feel like I owe anybody that listens to us. I feel like I always owe you guys because you guys take time out of your day. And like I always say, there's a million things you could be doing,
Yeah.
The world's, so the world, it's so full of crazy stuff to do. So it's, the fact that you guys do take time out and, look forward to our shows, to whether you're laughing at us or with us, there wasn't a chance I was missing the show today. So, yeah. So where's my contract, AEW?
Yeah, sign us, pal. Damn it. Really
sign Roy Johnson.
Yeah, yes. Sign RC Dupree too.
Yep, exactly. High stakes Dupree, baby.
Baby. By the way, Kofi Kingston got I know this is only random, but I wanted to give a plug for this. Kofi Kingston has his 24th special coming out after SummerSlam this Sunday. They do a great job with these documentaries, so I'm very excited to watch this one. It shows Kofi, the struggles he had before he got his Kofi Mania moment to his trip in Ghana that they taped a couple months ago. So I'm very excited to watch this. And Kofi, I guess we can start with this. I mean, say what you want about the WWE product or whatever, but for me personally, I think Kofi Kingston has been a tremendous WWE champion. Since he's won the title, everybody was kind of concerned he was just going to have a 3-month reign or whatever. But the fact for him to bring this title to WrestleMania 2 SummerSlam is a notch in his belt in a positive point of view, and I couldn't be happier for the guy.
Oh, yeah, it's fantastic. Everyone was kind of writing him off that he was going to be the first one to lose the title after WrestleMania. It was only a 1-month thing. It was only going to be a 1-week thing. It was going to be a couple-day thing. All the vitriol that you would see in the echo chamber that is wrestling Twitter. But it's nice to see, it's just good to see for Kofi. And I'm glad that they I was actually talking with somebody about this today. I am glad that they revisited the Orton stuff from, years ago, because they're taking all the internet talking points and they're just shoving it right back in our faces, right? Yeah. So use it to your advantage, and I think they've done it. They've done an exceptional job at that. It's going to be a great match on Sunday. I have no doubt about that. But I think that I don't know what people think or want sometimes, Josh. It just goes back to what do you want? And then when they go, well, I don't know. It's like, yeah, that's what I thought.
we hit on this last week when it comes to that, when it comes to what people want out of the AEW television show.
Right.
What do they want from this new regime from Eric Bischoff or Paul Heyman? It's just a weekly, no, not even weekly. It's actually a daily, pun intended, with the I, not the E. This cycle that this never ends. It's like you get what you want, and then you try to find something else to whine about that you're not getting at the same time. You're not going to get everything you want out of life, and you're not going to get everything you want out of a wrestling show.
No.
I've learned that from even before I started doing these type of shows 6 years ago. Mm-hmm. So I always look at it as you take one wrestling show at a time and try to learn something new from it, positive or negative, Right. I think I get more of appreciation for the product than most people because I take each show in stride. Yes, I am looking at it more in-depthly because I'm transcribing it, but that's not the only reason why that is. I form my own opinions. I'm the only person that can speak for me. And the same thing goes for you, brother. So, anyways, let's move on. Yes. I with what he had to deal with earlier, we're not going to have this be a super long show. I do want to get an update for everybody when it comes to the G1 because it's closing this Monday.
Get it.
This month of nonstop transcriptions that have been going on for this particular company finally ends on Monday. And I'm not saying that I want it to be over because I've actually been enjoying this tournament a lot. I kind of expressed that last week. I know we've been having a running joke about me throwing out the Meltzer stars and stuff like that, but it's been a lot of fun. This is the third time I've covered this tournament. It's been my favorite one so far. Each time I keep thinking there's been the best match of the tournament for a certain group of wrestlers. Then you have a match today like Juice Robinson and Jay White that go nearly 25 minutes, So, and then there's twists and turns. And the cool thing about the G1 Climax and how many shows are in there and how many matches that go throughout this tour, there is a sense of unpredictability too. I didn't expect Hiroki Goto to beat Jon Moxley today. If Jon Moxley won his match earlier this morning, he would have won the B block. So he would have been in the finals. So he had a big loss today. And let me say this really quick about Jon Moxley because I don't want to forget this. I talked about this on Twitter the other day. I want to give a little teaser of what you could see on AEW. By the way, I hope AEW uses the theme song that Moxley has in New Japan Pro Wrestling because it's really good. I just like how it fits with his character. What he's done with Shota Umino, having him as his manager, young boy type of thing, I think it's pretty cool. Wrestling-wise, it's not really different from what you saw from Dean Ambrose. And I'm not saying that as a knock. The only difference from a look-wise is just him wearing trunks, and that's fine. He has every right to change his look if he wants to. Just for people that are expecting him just to be all just F this, yada, 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 it's not that. Moxley still has his comedic side to him. I've heard the backstage interviews he's done for all the events for the tour. So if you're expecting this guy that's just going to MNF every 3 seconds like MJF or some of these other guys, I don't think that's really the case. But at the same time, Moxley, it's going to be very interesting where he goes as far as his presentation on AEW because there's so many guys he got to promote, right? And establish for AEW, right, brother? So
yeah, oh yeah.
I'm just saying, not to tap the brakes or anything like that, but if you're expecting this, the how you say the hysteria, the perception of what Jon Moxley was in the past, I don't know if you're gonna get that at AEW. Yes, his match with Joey Janelle was insane. You may get that on pay-per-views, but as far as like the weekly shows and how he goes about his character, I think there's gonna be a different twist with the Jon Moxley character. That's what I'm trying to say. So no. You're still gonna get elements from Dean Ambrose that worked, but you're still also gonna get a different twist from what Jon Moxley was in the past. So that's what I'm trying to say.
Well, I mean, and plus, even everybody matures, with time. I don't know. Would we want 2008, 2007, 2009? Jon Moxley. I don't know. I mean, even like everything, music has to evolve, characters have to evolve. And the same goes. Entertainers have to evolve. We hang too much on the past and want everything to be like it was then. Yeah. And like it was then isn't going to work today. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I think that's part of a lot of people's criticisms or concerns, or my biggest thing is let's have patience with a lot of these characters, right? It's a long time. I mean, it isn't, but it is. We got weeks, and we got about 8 weeks until AEW's first televised show, right? Yes, that's 2 full months where they can build characters, build some of the side characters, build some of the younger characters, build the women's division, promote them, still like kind of tell us their stories. And, I think by the time they hit TNT and, and not only will we have a better kind of understanding of where all their, not all their characters yet, but we're going to have a better understanding of where most of their characters are, most of their talent's going to be. Yeah. But we're going to kind of, they'll pull the curtain back a little more too, So I think it's a patience. Josh, we talk about it all the time. It's just almost like long-term booking. It's a lost art because we have short-term theater, short-term attention spans now, right? I
don't think anybody can consume an 8-month storyline right now.
I agree. And I kind of wanted the Roman angle to go longer, I didn't want it to be this quick 2-week little wrap-up thing because I finally wanted to see something that could leave us guessing for a couple months, like people didn't like the whole, who hit Stone Cold stuff after a while because they got tired of it and then this and that and never was ever good enough for people because, whatever. But at the same time, right, well, at the same time, when you look back on it, it was pretty genius, Yeah. So I'm okay with long-term storytelling with all that being, all of that tied in. Once we start talking about Raw and SmackDown, I thought Raw was fantastic this week. I think I was in the minority, but I don't know how. I for whatever reason thought really really enjoyed Raw this week. I think that we're in such a hurry to get AEW to a certain point and WWE to a certain point and New Japan to a certain point, and this it's like nothing happens overnight, right? Like, right. Listen, T-Mobile didn't become this mobile powerhouse. And I worked for them for a long time. And when I was just about to leave, that's when they were kind of turning the corner. But they were always known as just this whatever company until they started targeting the younger demographic. They became the young, hip, cool company. I had a little bit to do with that. And we connected. It's all about connection. But again, nothing happens overnight. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to just flip a switch and all of a sudden AEW's, hitting on all cylinders or WWE's hitting on all cylinders or, whatever the case may be. Yeah. And us in the bubble, like Josh, you sent me that Bischoff take on it. I think it's a really good take. Like we forget that we only make up about 10% maybe of the wrestling fan base. We think that us as like the hardcore like fans or whatever, we think that we dominate everything, but we're only 1/10 of the market share. Right. So at the end of the day, we're in the severe minority. They're not going to cater to us as much as anybody that's listening to this thinks, because they're going to get our money regardless. Right. They have to get those people that don't typically buy wrestling shirts. Like one year it was a running joke that we'd go to our local mall, and which is a very dated statement already. Me being Brody Bruce, and but we would go and count Austin 316 shirts during the holidays. We left the mall one day and we counted over 100 different shirts. Well, we spent some time there. I'm not gonna lie. It was how far back that was, but yeah, it was you go to the mall during the holidays. You guys know how it is. It was crazy. So, but again, that's something that didn't happen overnight. Sometimes timing is everything, and let's let things happen and play out,
Going back to the G1, there's a 4-way tie for the B block. So, like, this next show on Sunday is going to be very, very hectic and very busy because you got a tie with Moxley, Goto, Jay White, and trying to remember the fourth guy Naito. Naito has 10 points too. So you got 4 guys with 10 points. We'll see who wins up with the B block. I'm going to give my final prediction because obviously the tournament will be over by the time we do the show next week. But there's just some really fun matches to watch this weekend that I wanted to plug and just for people to check out. First off, Will Ospreay against Kenta for the other day was freaking insane. If you guys wanted to see a crazy stiff match, watch that one. As far as the ones this weekend is concerned, their next show will be Saturday, and that's going to be an 8-block show. Will Ospreay will fight Tanahashi for the first time, so that should be a lot of fun. And the main event of that show is Okada against Kota Ibushi. That match is going to be winner takes all. So whoever wins that match will be the winner of the 8-block. Sunday, you'll have Naito against Jay White, and Jon Moxley will wrap up his side of the tournament against Juice Robinson. So some really big matches coming up for New Japan Pro Wrestling. I am going to do a podcast maybe 2 weeks after the tournament's over so I can recap my experience covering it. It's just been a lot of fun. Even the main event that I saw this morning, Ishii and Shingo Takagi, was insane. I keep finding myself repeating it. It's just the action's that good. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of different styles of wrestling too. I don't think I can have a conversation with somebody in Japanese yet, but I am getting a little gist of the trash talk. So it's a process. I'm getting there, and it's some funny shit too, actually. So go check out the G1. Check out my transcriptions if you want. If you want to see what's going on in the standings and this and that. I shared the link to every show I've covered so far. Today was 16. So whatever 16 times 9 is, that's the number of wrestling matches I transcribed in the past month for this show alone. So as far as my predictions for the end of the G1, I think it will be Ibushi against Jay White. I really think Jay White's going to win the not the G1, but I do think he's going to win that particular block that he's in, Adam. So I think the whole story with JY just being the biggest villain in all of New Japan Pro Wrestling, and then Kota Ibushi being the good guy, it just makes sense. So I would go with JY against Ibushi. If it's not JY, Naito will probably win the block. As far as the winner of the G1, I think Kota Ibushi's winning the G1 this year. So either way, there's a lot of options at the end of the day for when it comes to this tournament. I'm having a blast with it. 3 more shows left to go, and I'm not surprised my fingers have fall out before All Out. So
yeah, right. You're gonna have arthritis by age 29.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. So that's the G1 update. Hope you guys have enjoyed the G1. If you have watched the tournament, hit me up on Twitter at the Hoots Podcast and tell me which matches that you've enjoyed the most so far. So I'd be very interested in that. Let's move on to Raw real quick because we got to make predictions soon. I agree too. I really enjoyed Raw this Monday. There's a lot of good stuff that happened on the show from a storyline point of view. Let's start off really quick with the Maria Kanellis, Mike Kanellis, OBGYN doctor's meeting. What did you think about that?
It was funny. It was funny. One thing that AJ and I pointed out, it's hysterical that Truth is always dressed up as the chick and Carmella's always dressed up as the guy. But it was brilliant. I thought it was brilliant how they did it. It was great comic relief. My question, Josh, is now what's the referee's son's name? Is it Daniel or is it what is it? It's not Daniel. The guy, the kid that won the tag team championship was
Nicholas.
Nicholas, there we go. Because last week we were saying Daniel, and after we went off air, AJ corrected us, and it was like, oh, thanks for calling us out on the show, so we could have corrected ourselves. So Nicholas, I think he takes the title at some point during SummerSlam.
Oh, really?
They had him cutting a promo or something on WWE. Why not? They're giving it to everybody. It'd be a quick little comic relief thing.
I think Carmella's going to turn on Truth on Sunday.
You think?
Yeah. Either she's going to roll him up or Braun Strowman will get involved in this 24/7 thing. So we'll see.
Yeah. Listen, the nice thing is, and I actually had another thing that I'm just going to toss out there, because when you really think about it, this is a title that anybody could have. Once Truth gets to number 15, put it on Flair. Put it on Rick, seriously, just for fun. And I know people are like, "Oh no!" Think about how funny that would be. No, it almost seems like that's what they're building towards in a way. Like it seems like they want Truth to get it like 15 or 16 times. He's already at what 10, 11.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
you know what's messed up? Carmella put a tweet out the other day with her, the baby doll, and R-Truth, and she put the caption "Baby Daddy." And Grace, while the show's gone on, responds with like an eye roll.
That's so great.
Hilarious.
That's so great.
I'm trying to remember what one-liners he had this week. Man, him and Saxon are awesome together.
Graves was on fire in his hometown.
Yeah, he had a lot of one-liners. Which one stood out to you?
I loved when he was talking about how you can go on top of Mount Washington and start screaming it loud, baby, because, Mount Washington might only be a mile from me. So, if I was feeling better, I would have been up there screaming for the goddess and Nikki Cross, screaming it from the top of Mount Washington. Close enough, but just wasn't feeling up to it. So, otherwise, you would have heard me.
My favorite Graves line was during the Viking Raiders match. There goes the guy from Coheed and Cambria.
Coheed and Cambria.
Yeah, Cambria. Oh man,
it looked like it.
I get a kick out of like how disgusted Renee Young gets once he gets excited. Like I thought we had to get like paramedics ready for him when like Mandy Rose came out during her entrance and then Alexa was right after her. I was like. Like, shut up, dummy. Yeah. Renee's doing some good stuff on commentary. I know a couple weeks ago, some Nimrod was saying that WWE should stop wasting their time hiring bad announcers and
everybody thinks the grass is always greener on the other side. Huh?
Always run your mouth, but don't actually do the things that you're trying to rip people for. Step in somebody's shoes before you start assuming shit. Please.
You know what was beautiful about Raw to me is that because I don't go on dirt sheets, so I don't, you guys have figured that out by now. So I let them tell the story. So I was not expecting really any of what happened to happen. You know, even down to Goldberg, just because, again, life is busy, man. I got a kid, I got a job, I got a house, I got shit to do. So from a week to week, I just kind of let them tell the story like we do with any other show, you know?
Right.
So, you know, when I popped because I thought HBK was going to be the guy. And then Goldberg's music hit and I popped again. Then I popped for the super kick at the end, you know? It felt like a total, like they completed the show. You know, I was kind of talking about this on the Masked Comedian X cast, but I actually really, and I don't want to say that, I do think that people are dipping way too in the dirt sheets, especially in today's age. Not that it's always been an issue, but in today's age, they are either giving away too much or giving away too much erroneous information that it's always spinning the Twitter sphere into a frenzy, when if you just step away, disconnect. I have a challenge for everyone real quick. With Tool's album coming out and a brand new single today, by the way, or yesterday or whenever, I think it was, I guess yesterday, or earlier in the week or whatever, whenever Tool came out, whenever they launched their new single. Yeah. But it's fantastic. It's whatever. It got me thinking about something. So here's my challenge. Now that Tool's on all streaming services, and you should have been listening to him all weekend. If you weren't, here's my challenge. Go to the Lateralis album, put on a song called Reflection, put your phone down, turn your television off, and then just sit there and listen to the song. Close your eyes and just let the music take you. Don't touch your phone until the end of the song, till the song's over. See if you can do it. It's an 11-minute song. I guarantee half of you tap out before the song's over. Not because you don't like the music, not because whatever, because you're so addicted to the phone and the flashing lights and the retweets, and I got to find a like, and what's this person saying, or, oh God, what's the lyric, or, oh, what are they doing here? Like, just stop. You know what I mean? We're all overcomplicating our lives, and we're overcomplicating our wrestling experience too, by constantly going on these dirt sheets, then going on social media, and then trying to find this and that. And you're always trying to find the answers before they can really even tell their questions. And everybody ends up, it's junky, it's screwy, just let it happen, you know?
Right. I want to add on to that. I want to, for you guys that are listening to the show, pick one show. Pick either TakeOver or SummerSlam this weekend and put this down. Shut down your laptop. You know,
they can't. People are addicted.
Just do it for one show. You don't have to do it for both. Just try one show and, you know, try to reflect and see how you felt about the show as you're watching it as it happened. I don't have that luxury because I'm using my phone to get the information down. So I have like a little setup when I do my transcriptions. Adam, you'll see when I'm up in Pittsburgh.
Yep.
So if I wasn't doing articles, I wouldn't use my phone. I wouldn't be on social media. And I'm just being honest. The only reason I'm on social media is to promote my work. And maybe people can say that's a bad thing or whatever. I don't want to be on social media. I really don't. No. It doesn't help me grow personally. It doesn't do anything for me but add more stress. I mean, there's the only good side of it is the people that I met along the way, from Adam, from Derek, the good brothers that give us shout outs on Twitter. You guys know who you are. But at the end of the day, I don't want to be on social media. A lot of the angst that you get out of professional wrestling stems from opinions that you don't believe. You're typing stuff out to get likes and retweets. And I just don't understand that mindset. I really don't.
I don't understand how everybody can constantly complain how stressful their life is. Then your escape is arguing with people on social media.
Right.
Like that's not adding on your personal stress.
Arguing about something that's supposed to be your hobby. Like,
you know what I mean?
Come on. It's ridiculous.
From now on, every time I order food from somewhere, I'm going to make sure that I lambaste them. After I complete the meal, of course. But I'm going to tell them everything that was wrong with the meal that they cooked for me. Just to make sure next time they spit in it. You know what I mean? Because let's face it, sometimes we're opening up for certain shows to basically spit on us. Now, WWE isn't going to be able to do that much longer because, they're going to have some competition around this and that. But let's face it, Josh, we've talked about this. People, there was a little spell there where people were hate watching. They were watching just to hate on the product, don't do that. It's really that simple. It goes back down to, what we talked about at the beginning of the show. It comes from places of darkness, enabling. It comes from people saying, no, it's okay. No, it's not. It's not. Like, take a couple steps back, compose yourself, and remember that you're not in there writing. Hell, most of the people that are complaining about this have never even been backstage to a show. How would you know how one is put on?
Right. Here's something that I was thinking about earlier when it came to Raw. We mentioned it before earlier that we were going to tape earlier. When I saw the which vignette it was something for SummerSlam. I just think it's interesting. Like you look at where some of these performers start from the bottom, and then they're getting like major penetration, distribution, media opportunities. Like I saw something with Ricochet getting a vignette for his match with AJ Styles. That's pretty cool. If you mentioned to me that AJ Styles and Ricochet were having a high profile match at SummerSlam 6 years ago, I wouldn't believe you.
Right. Even 4 years ago, man.
It's super cool. I really think that's maybe it's a little thing to some other people, but I think it's really cool. What else was I gonna mention? I really enjoyed the Andrade Almas Rey Mysterio match. I don't know how you can do a monkey flip code red. That's just that's insane, man. Rey Mysterio is a legend. The 4-way match was my favorite part of Raw from a wrestling point of view. The 4-way women's tag team title match. Shout out to all 8 ladies that participated in that match. It's always nice to see Paige on our television screens. But more importantly, seeing Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, which was a deal that a lot of people were complaining about at the beginning, and kind of similar to what it was with Cesaro and Sheamus. These two just meshed well together, and for people that constantly go out of their soapbox complaining about Alexa Bliss, I think you just need to accept the fact that she's good at your job, and I don't know why that should affect you.
I also think we need to stop letting live crowds dictate how we feel about a show because, Pittsburgh's crowd sucks. We're not a good city. We're really not. We're not a good. The past 4 or 5 shows I've noticed we're not really as vocal as we used to be. They sit on their hands way too much, and then when they decide like, oh, well, we're not going to sit on our hands, they chant or do something that has nothing to do with it's almost the Ziggler Rollins thing that like I was kind of like protecting the crowd a little bit on it because I was there and I kind of I'm not doing that anymore. I'm really not because it's just getting to the point that eventually they're going to stop giving us decent shows because you can't have your go home show to SummerSlam, which I thought, and I love the Joe Reigns segment on there. And I know that's not everybody's cup of tea, but I thought that it was stretching the story because I was hoping the storyline was going to last a lot longer. And, when you instantly think it's Joe and then all of a sudden Joe's there and Joe's not turns on a dime, but now you look at Joe's trying to help out Roman and all this kind of stuff, there's something cool with that, It adds to the ambiguity of like what is every character? Are they heel? Are they face? Are they gray? Are they this? Or that? Like we don't. It's nice to see it as a universe, as like okay, now that the human element comes in and what's really going on, I thought that was great, but the crowd was totally dead for it. I've been to shows though where stuff happens outside the building, and that's going to happen sometimes. But during the four way match, the crowd was dead or chanting CM Punk for some reason. Stop. It wasn't cool when you did it to AJ Lee. It's definitely not cool now when these women have no attachment to the man.
She gets all the title. She gets all the title opportunities.
She probably does. Yeah, it's because she deserves it.
Exactly.
She pushes merch. She pushes your buttons. She's good at her job. That's all there is to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, instead of complaining about Alexa Bliss, how about you get excited for Nikki actually getting the title?
Whoa, listen, because that's the glass half full, glass half empty. We got to talk about the half empty, not the half full.
Right. Adding on to the Goldberg thing you mentioned earlier, I just thought it was cool to see him get a genuine pop.
I was too.
People there. I just thought that was the best part of it.
Yeah, agreed.
Even after all the nonsense that went on at the last Super Showdown they did. Just seeing him getting that reaction, it's his turn to get the redemption, just like Undertaker got his redemption at Extreme Rules. A lot of people said that Undertaker tag team match was one of the best matches of the pay-per-view. And I know what Goldberg is. We all know who Goldberg is. Maybe he's not your favorite wrestler, and that's perfectly fine. I understand that. But if this is how he wants to go out and he wants to redeem himself from his last performance, go knock your socks off.
Yeah.
The people in Toronto are going to eat it up. Look how excited they were when he beat Brock Lesnar a few years ago at Survivor Series. That was in Toronto.
Yep.
So, yeah, I get it. Dolph Ziggler is just being fed to an old guy. That's the whole part of this storyline. It's not something like, oh, he just randomly showed up. Oh, here's Goldberg just to beat up Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler's been talking trash about him for the last month. So, I don't know how that doesn't go with the storylines that are going on. I don't know.
No, I agree. And like I said, I think the pleasantry that I have is that because I can forget things from week to week because there's more important things in my life, Right. But it was a surprise. So yeah, I popped, and I'm glad the crowd popped the way that they did too. I thought HBK played it off real well. So to have that first pop, then I kind of had that second pop to what was a pretty dead crowd most of the show.
Right.
And Josh, we were actually talking about this. My daughter got tired. She went to bed early, and we realized we're only like halfway through the show. Like there wasn't much we fast forward through this week, and we typically will fast forward through. We'll get through a show in an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, and that wasn't the case this week. There was still like an hour and a half left when like she tapped out for the night. So it was like, okay. And then I felt bad because after she goes to bed, I'm popping for like every segment, every 15 minutes. I'm like, I'm going crazy. But I thought it was a good show. It was a complete show. I thought it was one of the best Raws they've had in a little while. The last hour I thought was one of the best hours they've had in a long time. I think a lot of the criticisms, man, are, again, it's people that are already going to criticize them anyway, or it's people that are going by crowd reaction. And listen, I've been to shows in Pittsburgh. I've been to a million shows in Pittsburgh. I haven't gone to a million shows in Pittsburgh. And the case is that we're just really not that great of a fan base. We're as fair weather as they come here. Talk to any Steeler fan, and you'll find out how quick that they're fair weather, because they will bury players from the past that they were stroking when they were there, dude, it's bad. So, it's just that, I think that it's a fickle town. Like we're a fickle city. And, I think that they were given a lot of really good surprises. It was a good show.
Yeah, it was. It was. And usually these last Raws before pay-per-views can be hit or miss. And all of it is just plot points. You already know what most of the show is. So, to have the different elements and having what went down with Roman and the car crash in the parking lot, I thought it was cool. I saw some people like, oh, great, now they're going to make Samoa Joe a babyface. No, he's having a freaking human element to himself.
Right.
Just because you're a heel doesn't mean you can't be a human.
Yep.
At every single time. I get it. We love heels. I know you're a heel guy. I'm a heel guy too at certain points too. Like
always.
So Samoa Joe wasn't buried. Like, just stop with the nonsense.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. I did like that break, because we all know we don't necessarily even know Joe is a heel. He's just an ass kicker. You know what I mean? Like he just comes out and that he's a prize fighter slugger is gonna go out there and hurt somebody. We don't really, and when you really look at the man the character that Samoa Joe is, he's always standing up for what he thinks is right. Now, we can always disagree with what somebody's right or wrong is, but we don't, just because he's a bad guy or what he thinks is right is typically that he plays the antagonist. That doesn't mean that that doesn't mean that he sees Roman getting his car get smashed into and he's going to go out there and attack him. That's not necessarily what a heel is. Lesnar, maybe. If you're trying to build a monster, maybe. But that's not what they're trying to do with Joe. He's a prize fighter. He is a professional wrestler. I thought it was great.
Right. Really quick before we bring AJ in, because we got a lot of matches to go through for SummerSlam. I think there's like 11.
Yeah.
Something like that. I just want to really quick run down the card for the matches at TakeOver this Saturday. First off, we're having the first takeover where two female matches on the main takeover show, which I think is pretty cool. Candice LeRae against Io Shirai is one of them, and the title match is Shayna Baszler against Mia Yim for the NXT Women's Championship. I every time we get and we talk about takeover, it's like how Baszler's going to retain this time. Like she has been so good from an in-ring performer. I think a lot of people are tired of her being champion, and I can understand that. I'll admit the main NXT brand has been hit and miss as far as the weekly shows are concerned. I've been more excited for the build for NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff than I have for this show on Saturday.
Here come the arrows.
And I know that's going to get a lot of people triggered, but I have to keep it 100, right?
Always.
I'm not saying there's not matches that I'm not excited for, but there's also been just like, okay, here's this and then that's that, there's not a lot of nuance to what's going on with these feuds going on Saturday. I'm very excited for Velveteen Dream against Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne. That's a triple threat match for the NXT North American Championship.
Always excited for the Bruiserweight.
Right. Pete Dunne can have his shot to win the NXT North American title for the first time. So I'm very excited to see where that goes. I guess the overlying theme of this takeover is that the Undisputed Era are going to try to do everything they can to have all of them wearing titles at the end of the show, which could be cool. Roderick could win that match, become the North American champion. The Undisputed Era, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish could beat the Street Profits, who, by the way, I think they've been doing a good job on Raw recently.
Oh, they're great.
They're fighting each other for the tag team titles. I'm sure that'll be a fun match. And then finally, you got Adam Cole against Johnny Gargano in a 2 out of 3 falls match. But it's kind of a modified version of 3 Stages of Hell. The first fall will be a street fight. The second fall will be a standard wrestling match because you got Johnny wrestling, right? If it goes to a third fall, William Regal will make the stipulation for that final fall, and I'm pretty sure that will happen. So
yeah, I do too.
I was talking about this with Adam before we came on air today. I like Johnny Gargano as a wrestler. He's not my favorite guy in NXT, but I enjoy transcribing his matches and stuff. I need a break from Johnny Gargano from the title picture and just him main eventing these takeovers in general. Either he goes up to 205 Live or he needs to have a new feud, because I think this would be either the 7th or 8th takeover in a row that Gargano has main evented this takeover thing. So I need a break from Johnny Gargano. And again, that's probably going to be another thing that gets people triggered, but I'm just keeping it 100, you guys. So again, people know how it is with takeovers. Even for the people who don't watch the NBC show every single week, they get excited for the energy inside these takeover events. I'm pretty sure Toronto will be a hot crowd, and I'm pretty sure everybody on Twitter will be like, oh God, the main roster is going to be on their pins and needles. They're going to be scared when it comes to SummerSlam. Like, we know how the drill is when it comes to these takeover shows, but I'll admit, man, this particular show on Saturday has been the least excited that I've been for any of the takeovers.
You know what? Because I don't watch on a weekly basis, I'm pretty excited for it because of the potential that could be, right? Undisputed Era walking out with all the championships. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but there's that what if factor, because it's really about the what ifs. Like, we got to stop trying to predict it and think that, that's definitely where they're going to go with this, before they let us tell the story. So I just kind of think all the different ways that they could go, and whatever they give us, that's always, what's fun for me. But you could have Undisputed Era walk out with all the titles. You could have, Pete Dunne gets his first, NXT theoretically, championship, even though it's, North American Championship, whatever. You could have the Gargano Cole thing extended out a little bit. Having Candice LeRae, Io Shirai, then Mia Yim and Shayna Baszler, on that card, think it's great. All 4 women are fantastic athletes, fantastic competitors. I love Io Shirai. I'm a really, really big Io Shirai fan. I think that there's something, there's always something to look forward to with these. And for me, even, like I said, I haven't watched it on a weekly basis, and maybe that's a good thing, because then I don't pick it apart like most people do. because I'm not given anything but the video packages they give me before the match. And they always do such a fantastic job on those video packages for NXT, like the previews leading in, the vignettes. I know I'm gonna enjoy TakeOver, and I'm not gonna sit there and be the guy that's like, okay, I just want to see that if TakeOver is good, right? Yeah. When are they gonna start with, well, AEW got something to follow, right? Because the talk when I've seen here and there has been, oh, when this launches, NXT is going to lose my money because I'm going to be watching AEW and this and that and blah, 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 blah. So when everyone's stroking NXT, when the pay-per-view is done, because it's going to be fantastic, how and then in your mind is it compared to AEW? Because we always want to bury Raw and SmackDown and lift NXT up so high. So where does AEW fit in your equation then? Because NXT is still the minor leagues, whether you guys like it or not. So it really is. I mean, I understand it's WWE under their umbrella and blah, blah, blah. And I get it. I get all the arguments, but at the end of the day,
it's not its own company.
Right. Thank you. Exactly. So, and that's not taking anything against the men and women that are down there. And I understand why some of the talent would like and prefer maybe to remain in NXT. But at the same time, NXT is still Raw and SmackDown's little brother.
Yep. We'll just see how the money goes when it comes to the Fox deal, though.
Right.
But it also can't be a bad thing, too, because you're still getting a crap load of money from the USA Network, too. So,
oh, yeah.
You can have two big brands that are getting the same amount of attention.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very curious to see how they go about splitting the agents, like the guys who set up the matches and this and that. What if you get new announced teams for these shows?
That's a good point. Is Graves going to be on both teams?
Right.
I
think he would be on SmackDown. I really do.
I think he's a Raw guy.
No, he's their best color commentator. He's gonna be on SmackDown.
And he knows how to push that edgy button a little bit, and it just seems like on Raw they might be a little edgier, and I'm probably wrong, but I'm always wrong. I just there's so much potential coming up with everybody. And that's why I wish all the criticisms would stop and let all these companies tell their stories. Because while everyone's arguing about what could be, should be, who isn't there, who's there, who could be there, blah, 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 all this foolishness, you guys are missing some great stories with every company, I think even people are missing some of AEW's best moments because they're too busy. They're too busy stroking them so hard. They're missing some of the good things they're doing,
Yeah. What was I gonna say? They have a song from Slipknot. I don't know if you're a fan of theirs or not.
Absolutely.
They got a song called Unstained or Unsated. It's the theme song for TakeOver this Saturday. They even had Corey Taylor in his whole gear have a promo for it.
Oh, that's awesome. Cool. That's awesome.
So, speaking of Slipknot, usually on pay-per-views, I would go by my Uncle Jeremy's house and watch the pay-per-views with him. I'm not going to be able to do that this weekend because he is going to a Slipknot concert.
Oh, there it is.
That same Sunday. I'm like, seriously?
There it is.
He's as big of a wrestling fan as I am. And he told me, he's like, man, I'm pissed. Why are they doing SummerSlam so early this year? It was funny, though. I hope he has a good time at Slipknot. I've never seen them perform in person. I'm pretty sure their concerts are insane.
They're nuts.
I've never been in a mosh pit in my life, and I'm kind of glad that I haven't. So
I have, and I don't have the frame for it.
I could throw some elbows like I did in football still, I guess.
Yeah, I think it aged almost 40. Let's just call me 40 already, because I'm going to own that. I'm owning 40 like a boss. But at age 40, I think that my moshing days are
over. Bro, you think it's that time?
If it's that time, it's that time, man.
Let's bring the superstar in.
All right, let's do it. Let me hit the mute real quick. I'll be right back.
Really quick, it's Adam's bringing in AJ through the eyes of a 9-year-old. Just want to remind you guys could listen to the podcast every single Thursday, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcast from. Tell a friend about the show. I think we're doing something cool here. and people are noticing it, and we're taking this and we're going it as the way it is. We're going off cuff. There's no script to the show. I'm a Puerto Rican. I have dyslexia at times, and I'm okay with that. I'm not. I know when I could be possible, when I have to be this and that, whatever. But this is a podcast. This is not a radio show. We're having fun with this shit. So
correct. Correct. Is anything polished these days?
No, not really. Even for the people that are popular and have podcasts, there's slip ups. So again, this is a podcast. This is not a radio show, or me being wearing a 3-piece suit on a news desk. It's not that type of show. So
it could be.
Please. the dynamics of the show wouldn't work in that format.
Not with a suit. Yeah, it's right. It's got to be a big moment to get me in a suit.
Mm-hmm. All right. Please do the intro, good brother.
Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen, with the world's favorite wrestling segment, Through the Eyes of a 9-Year-Old, starring the superstar AJ Daley. AJ, what is going on?
I am good. How are you today?
Probably could be better, had better days, but we're just going to say good, just for the sake of argument here.
Yes.
So you've come in to talk about our SummerSlam preview. We're not going to call it predictions really, because I'd rather not play that hand. I'm personally going to talk about. I'm going to preview matches, talk about things that could happen, what would be fun to see. I guess fantasy book kind of deal, just get you guys thinking, have a little fun with that kind of stuff. You can do predictions if you'd like, however you guys want to do it, but I like calling it a preview. I think it sounds better, right? It doesn't sound as markish if we say preview versus predictions.
Preview.
There you go.
Previews, yes. We're probably not going to be able to make predictions for every single match, but AJ, just to start off with this real quick, which matches are you excited for the most on Sunday?
Probably the Finn Balor and Fiend match, and the Trish and who is it? Charlotte match.
Right. I'm very excited for the AJ Styles Ricochet match. Also, Kofi Kingston and Randy Orton. I know a lot of people are not happy with Randy Orton anymore, and I can understand that. People have Randy Orton fatigue, but I think with their history and the build they had into this match, I think that's going to be a lot of fun too. I don't know what you think about that match, Adam.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Listen, Orton plays his role good. Orton's the perfect example of a guy who really doesn't. I'm sure he cares what fans think, but he doesn't give a shit what fans think. You know what I mean? Like he's not going to let a thread on Twitter ruin his day, and because he has more composure than that. Whether people want to paint him as this wild card, I don't believe that. So at the end of the day, I think it's going to be a good match. I mean, I think it's already kind of exceeded some people's expectations when it comes to promo work, what they've been talking about, tying in stuff from a couple years, not even a couple years ago now, from damn near 10 years. But so that's one. I know I might be in the minority, but I'm really looking forward to what can happen in Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar. We'll get into that when we talk about this stuff, but that's one that I'm really looking forward to. I think Becky and Natalya there could be some things happening there that could be fun.
Yes.
There's a couple matches on this card that we're not looking. I think that we don't want any. We can't have like funny finishes in every match or that kind of thing. But there's a couple matches that if they did pull off some screwy finish or a run in or anything like that, it makes sense and it'd be fun. So I'm just going to kind of take it as they go. But I mean, there's a lot of matches on paper that, if it doesn't blow people away, it's the potential of what could be and what they could get out of it and what they could get out of it moving forward. So yeah, I'm okay with the card on Sunday.
Really quick, when it comes to the kickoff show, a match I think people should definitely check out Drew Gulak against Oni Lorcan from NXT. They're fighting for the Cruiserweight title. That match is going to be a lot of fun.
Oni Lorcan sounds like a dude that works on cars for a living.
And he looks like one too.
Yeah.
He has the most annoying wrestling song ever.
Yes, he does.
And that.
Which is like 35 million times with the beat.
Yeah.
You can add that to the Undisputed Era theme song too, but
I dig the Undisputed Era.
It's awesome.
It grew on me.
It's awesome.
That's good elevator music.
It's on my playlist. I don't know what you're talking about.
The version with Josiah Williams is even better.
I'll talk. You gotta think if, let's say, like, you're at the Jericho Cruise, right?
Mhm.
And they have elevators in this big ass boat. You think they have like Undisputed Era theme song in the elevators as you're going up? They just have this big playlist of wrestling songs.
Probably not in AEW because Adam Cole's dead.
Well, that's a good
Well,
point.
that's why they would play it, because he's dead.
In honor. Well, they'd have to play his old theme song, you know, because they don't know. I don't, you know, to them, he's dead. They don't know about Undisputed Era's theme, so it's. You know.
True.
Yeah.
But I mean, they still know about like Adam Cole, and, like the weird hand thing and stuff, right?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think it's.
I mean, there's just a weird.
It's
thing,
just
like
they should
the
just use Britt
ghost,
Baker's
right?
music that she came out to at All In last year, which was Cole's old music.
Yes.
I love
they can
that
play that in
song.
the elevator. Yeah, they can play that in the elevator. In honor of.
I gotta use that song on the podcast soon. I love that ROH theme song he had.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard it.
Real quick, you mentioned something earlier. You think Cole would go to 205 Live instead of Raw or SmackDown?
No, I said Gargano.
Oh, that's right, Gargano. I'm sorry, brother. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Okay, go on.
Gargano would go to 205 Live.
205 Live.
You think? I mean, he was already on Raw and SmackDown.
Nah.
Yeah, but I think he would be better at 205 Live, personally.
A lot of people are gonna be triggered, but I'm glad that you're honest, AJ. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you can say
It just seems like they have enough smaller guys now.
Fandango went ahead and went down to NXT again.
Yep, Breezango are gonna be in a tag team match next week on NXT. So
Yeah, it's awesome. I like that.
I don't know if you would like the team they're fighting against, the Forgotten Sons. I want to give a shout out to
Oh, I've
Phil.
heard of them.
I want to give a shout out to Phil from the Mighty CM podcast they do. He calls them the forgettable bums. I think that's kind of harsh.
Oh man.
Anyways, let's move on to the show real quick. Let's start off with Becky and Natalya for the submission match. It's kind of different, you know. We rarely have submission title matches these days, so you got two wrestlers who could live up to that point. I think this is a match that's going to get a lot of time. I'm very excited for this match. I'll admit, man, some aspects of Becky's character has been kind of a disconnect to me because I feel like every feud that she's had after Ronda Rousey, she looks at every opponent as if they are Ronda Rousey. Like, you beat her at WrestleMania, get over it already.
Well, I think you drove a good point because this could be the weekend Ronda Rousey comes back, right?
I was about to ask you guys that. Would you mind Ronda coming back?
To me, I think it would be important. Like, I think like WWE might need Ronda, but at the same time, I don't know if like I need Ronda. Like, I don't know if I need to see Ronda on my television every Monday or every Tuesday, but maybe, I don't know.
I want Ronda back. And I think it's the reason why I say this could be the perfect weekend to bring her back. You know, is because the whole story with her was Natty was training her, right? Natty trained her. That was the whole thing, you know. So now here goes Becky going after Natalya. They're having this match up there. Maybe Ronda turns on Natty. Maybe Ronda comes in after Becky already wins. You know, maybe she comes in on a Raw or SmackDown or whatever. You know, so it doesn't have to, it's not limited to SummerSlam.
I think, I'm sorry not to cut you off.
Cut me off.
But I think Ronda is gonna be like the ultimate bad guy, where she goes against everybody.
Yeah, she should be.
Like, everybody gets wiped out, basically.
I agree with that. I think that's how it should be too. Josh, what do you think about that, man?
Here's the analogy I want to make. I want to see if you guys see where I'm going with this. When it comes to Becky, like, what got her really like pumped up with the man character, that she was anti-establishment. I kind of feel like it's now where Becky's turned into a high school environment where if you're friends with my enemy, you're the devil, you know? I just think it's weird.
Well, I think it wasn't that she was...
And again, don't get me wrong. Me and you have been advocate for gray area characters. This is not a heel or face thing. I don't get where she's coming from now. Like, her character is like one thing this week, the next, you know.
because she's not. I don't think she's supposed to be anti-establishment. She's supposed to be anti-everybody. She's for herself. She's she's Stone Cold again, right? That's
a good point because a lot of people stabbed her in the back when she was going after titles, so I can understand that.
Yeah, at least I don't know. What do you think, AJ?
Yeah, she is sort of like the Stone Cold. Right now, even Stone Cold said that she's a Stone Cold. So, if Stone Cold says so, then that's the bottom line.
Wow. You drive home good points. Drive home hard to beat points.
That's the bottom line because Stone Cold said so.
What? What?
Exactly.
What? What? All right. Who you guys got in this match?
Well, I'm pretty excited for this match, to be honest. I do want to see Becky beat Natty, of course, so
I'm thinking, does somebody get screwed over? Does another member of the Hart family get screwed over in Canada? Is this where, the man finally loses her championship so that, if people are having a disconnect, maybe her character's better without a championship. Maybe she's better as the person that just kind of is a better storyline person versus, because I don't always think that the champion the person makes the title, but at the same time, sometimes people are better. I've always been a fan of when my favorites didn't have a championship because I feel like you get pigeonholed too much, So maybe that's where the disconnect is, but I think this is going to be one of the more interesting matches and fallouts because of the potential of what could happen after the fact, but I think Becky probably retains. But I say probably because I don't know where they were planning on going with everything, especially because it does seem like they're kind of hitting somewhat of a soft reset in a way. So I think I'm still gonna go Becky though.
Yeah.
I'm very curious to see if they have, like, let's say, like, Natalia forms a group or whatever. I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see where they're going to go with her character now. Is this just going to be a one-off match? Is this something that can be multiple months? I don't know. That's like, let's say, like, Natty gets herself disqualified because she's too emotionally, like, she's like a hothead. She gets herself disqualified. What if it's like they have the match at Clash of Champions the next month, and then Ronda Rousey could be like the special guest referee?
Oh, I dig that. Yeah, I would dig that.
Yeah.
Just throwing it out there. For those listening to the show, let me know. Would you mind seeing that type of match for next month if this feud continues?
Well, you know what, Josh? This could also be a no contest because it's a submission match. But if Rousey were to come down and take them both out and say, I'm the submission specialist here, you can set up a three-way for the next pay-per-view.
I like that idea too.
I mean, there's a bunch of different ways you can look at it if you kind of take – when you're not online and you're not getting all these spoilers or feeders or this or that or whatever, and you're kind of just getting like, okay, where could they go with this? There are a lot of options they could go. So that's I'm looking forward to this match.
All right, the next one we'll talk about here really quick is Kofi Kingston against Randy Orton. I have Kofi retaining. You guys agree with me, or you think Randy could win this one? Actually,
I'm going Kofi.
Yeah, same here.
It's kind of curious. The reason I'm chuckling because remember when we were talking about WrestleMania, I was like, man, AJ Styles and Randy Orton are going to steal the show, right? And then I still enjoyed the match they had at WrestleMania, but everybody in the crowd was so like distracted with the yellow lights in the stadium and stuff.
Right.
People were sitting on their hands. Now it's kind of different now because
it's understandable too, by the way, because during Extreme Rules there was a light shining right in our eyes, and we had headaches by the end of the night. So I will give people the benefit of the doubt with that one.
I experienced it at WrestleMania 33 in the dump bowl. I'm not even calling it the Citrus Bowl.
It made me want to wear my sunglasses at night.
Uh-huh.
So I can.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this match with Kofi and Randy Orton. I think Kofi stole the show at WrestleMania this year. He really did. I think a lot of people, besides the main event, everybody was talking about Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan. If this guy had the same energy with the crowd in Toronto, I wouldn't be surprised. So either way, I still think Kofi Kingston's going to retain the WWE title. AJ Styles against Ricochet. What you guys got in this one?
Ricochet.
I'm gonna hold it with AJ Styles.
Gross.
Gross.
No.
I think it's because we have the same soccer mom haircut right now.
No, not true.
Right, his is longer. His is before I decided I was gonna cut a ponytail off in a ponytail. I didn't realize how atrocious that was gonna be. You know, I think this is one where just Ricochet even being in a marquee match on SummerSlam is already a big deal, whether fans want to admit it or not. It's not. This one isn't about the win or the loss. It's just about the exposure on a huge stage. And I think Ricochet's already won, but just by being in this match. So I'm gonna keep it on Styles for right now because the OC it seems like they're gaining some momentum right now.
I like what they've been doing with them, actually.
I have too. I love the Gallows is playing with the paints again, man.
Yes.
Love it.
Yep. He did that a lot when they were in New Japan.
Yes, he did.
Different colors of paint every single week.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor. What I liked about SmackDown this week, because I think a lot of people were like, "Oh, this is gonna be where it's Finn's like, oh, I'm gonna bring out the demon." I kind of like the fact that it's not advertised. Like Finn could come out as a demon at the pay-per-view.
He can't though, and I'm gonna give you one reason why.
Okay.
The demon doesn't lose.
Well, the reason I'm going with this, I actually think the only way you could have Finn Balor like turn into a bad guy and join the OC is if he loses as a demon, because that would push him over the edge.
I wasn't even going that far with it. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
You keep hearing people saying that he's going to take a couple months off or whatever. I know you said you would like to see the Undisputed Era against the OC at Survivor Series. I'm just throwing it out there. If Finn Balor's going to be a bad guy, I think it would make sense for him just to lose his mind if he lost as a demon. It's just an idea. I'm not guaranteeing that's going to happen. It's just a suggestion. So either way, I'm really excited for this match, and I can't wait to see what the entrance for Bray Wyatt's going to be.
Right. And you know what, Josh? I think my 2 cents on using Balor as the demon, I think you hold off on it only because then you automatically have that organic feud when Finn decides to come back. Then you can make it Fiend versus Demon. You know what I mean? Like, have him lose as just the extraordinary man that does extraordinary things, or whatever, that does extraordinary things.
Yeah.
Have him lose as just being Finn Balor. So when he does take a couple months off, when he does come back, then he's coming back as the demon, and then you have Demon versus Fiend. That's where I go. Don't give people too much too quick. Plus, you want to keep the luster of the demon on. It's almost like The Undertaker at WrestleMania for how many years? Drove people nuts, I know, but that's something you want to keep intact for just the right time. I don't think the Fiend in his debut match is who should beat. Not that it's not that I don't think they'd go that route. That's all.
Right. AJ, how excited are you for this match?
I'm very excited. I can't wait to see the Fiend.
It's gonna be the fastest squash match in SummerSlam history.
Yes. The Fiend is gonna freaking demolish Finn Balor.
That's your boy too.
Yeah. But I don't care because I want to see if the Fiend is good or not. I actually think that there will be no entrance for this Fiend. He'll actually pop up during Finn Balor's entrance.
You know what would be fun? I want to get both of your guys' reaction on this. What if while the Fiend was having his match, Bray was actually on the Titantron the whole time? Kind of like, kind of creating almost like that illusion that they're two separate people still.
Oh.
Right? So that like you can have Bray on, like you can almost have the Firefly Funhouse on the Titantron while the match is going on. I don't know. Would people be into that? Would they not be into it? I don't know, because it's something that what they're doing right now is different.
I feel like that would be good because you can easily distract the fans because you might be looking at that than the thing because you want to see what the Fiend is in because this is the first time you're really seeing the Fiend in action. Then you want to see what Bray might be doing on the Titantron. Then you're looking that might be distracting. And then you could easily pull something off probably down there. And then
a distraction for Finn too.
Yeah, it'll be a distraction for Finn. You can turn that on. And you don't even have to turn the lights off or anything, which I'm thinking they're going to turn the lights off for this match.
Yeah.
That's just a personal opinion. They're turning the lights off for this match. And then, like, that could easily distract the crowd, Finn, so that way they can do anything with the Fiend.
It's almost like, who used to wrestle in the blue light all the time?
Sin Cara.
Yeah.
Sin Cara wrestled in blue light.
Yeah. You were too young at that time.
Yeah.
Wow. I might have it on one of my DVDs. I'm not sure. I don't think Sin Cara is too special to be on a legendary CD.
Botch Cara.
How about this? A Sin Cara versus Sin Cara match. You remember that, Adam?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Sin Cara versus Sin Cara.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God. Is this match going to be shorter than Ultimate Warrior and Honky Tonk Man?
Yeah, it should be. Realistically, I mean, I think that makes more of an impact. Him squashing Balor versus him I don't know. I think it does more for the Fiend right now. Right. Again, because then when you bring Balor back as the Demon, maybe the Demon just starts popping up in the Funhouse, and Bray doesn't know what to do. Bray can't control the Demon now, and there's there's a lot of different things they could do. But yeah, I think this is going to be quick.
All right, Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon.
I'm going Kevin Owens.
Going Shane McMahon.
I'm going with Shane McMahon too.
Now, here's the fun part about this. Let me throw something at you guys. Is this, could somehow, and I know I'm playing like, oh, it looks like I'm getting involved in every match. Yeah, just for fun. Let's just go with it. Shane seems to be taking on the Vince role almost. It's getting to that point where he's kind of becoming Vince 2.0, right? Why couldn't where's Stephanie? Because right now we only have one McMahon kind of in like a best in the world kind of situation, not playing by the rules really at all. When you go with Raw, SmackDown on two different networks, you want them to feel like they're competition with each other, not only with other companies. So is this where you can come in, like Triple H can maybe come in and protect his investment in Kevin Owens? Could Stephanie come out? Could other people come out? You know what I mean? Who all could get involved in this match? I think there's a lot of different ways they could go with this too. But I'm actually going with Shane.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing, and it's WWE. Nobody's actually really fired,
right?
So Kevin Owens could quit, but he'll be back before you know it.
Yeah,
they'll find a way. I mean, they were like, "Oh, last year." I remember this last year. They're like Undertaker versus Triple H for the last time, and then like 3 weeks later, they had the DX Brothers of Destruction match.
Right?
Don't treat it like sports where you take everything by the word. This is entertainment. This is not sports. So.
Right? Yeah, very true.
I'm gonna go with Shane McMahon. All right, let's go on to the next one really quick. Is there anything that I'm missing that I haven't mentioned yet?
Lesnar Rollins.
We talked about Natty and Becky.
Yep.
I think it's pretty obvious. Charlotte and Trish is good. Go to Charlotte. Trish did say, I did want to mention this, that this will be her last match. So it's pretty cool. She gets to go out in her hometown again. So
that's awesome.
Let's not trust that, though. That might not be her last match. HBK also said one time that it was going to be his last match, and then he had another match. And then he said that was going to be his last match. Then he had another freaking match.
Well, when you keep finding your smile, you got to come back.
Yes.
Well, I know. And then Trish also said years ago that was going to be her last match. Then she came back for Evolution, and that was going to be her last match.
AJ, you got me. That's a very valid point. You got me. All right, let's talk about Lesnar Rollins. Let's hear from AJ first. Are you excited for this match? And B, who do you have winning this match?
I want Seth to win. I think Brock is gonna win, but I know Heyman is gonna be doing something.
There's gonna be shenanigans.
Yeah. So I have 3 things. I want Seth to win. I think that Brock is going to win, but I know that Paul Heyman will be doing something.
Yeah, he'll be the X factor in this match, I think.
Yes.
WWE put a video up earlier saying like superstars reflecting when Brock Lesnar like squashed John Cena a few years ago at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
I'm not getting that vibe with this match.
No.
Like I get it. Brock just like demolished the dude for 2 weeks in a row. I'm kind of surprised they haven't made this a hardcore match with the number of times Brock used his steel chair on the dude, you know? So, I just don't get that vibe. What was really cool about WrestleMania this year, and I know a lot of people weren't excited for that match when it got into that WrestleMania feud, but they started off the pay-per-view. Remember, Adam? They started off with that match and shocked everybody.
Yeah.
And then Brock changed his mind about UFC, and then much to my chagrin, he came back and he's the champion again, right? So, now here we are at SummerSlam, and he's the champion. I really think Seth Rollins is going to win and shock people. If Rollins is going to be one of the main stars, like taken seriously as one of the main stars, he just has to beat the guy straight up this time.
I don't think it's going to be straight up. So I'll go this route.
Right.
I think it just seems over the past couple weeks that there's been, I don't want to say a change in Paul Heyman, but even his promo, it sounded like he was advocating more for Seth Rollins than he was for Brock Lesnar. You know, he's got more balls than brains. He's got this, that, you know, it's whatever. I mean, hey, he said it, not me. But
well, it doesn't. Well, now you sound like Brock the 1 year. He said, not me.
Yeah, well, you know, say something stupid, Paul. So, no, but I think that, you know, we always get that one shocking SummerSlam moment every year, typically, you know. I think there would be something interesting about this because, you know, they already addressed that Heyman is somewhat involved backstage on TV. The past couple weeks too, if you just look at Heyman and Lesnar, they just don't seem like they're totally on the same page. And with the promo that Rollins cut, where he's like, he's got to make it there. It's all I have. It's all of this. You know, what if a deal was made? You know, storyline wise, of course, but between Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman, listen, if you get the SummerSlam, I'll make sure that you win because I have to protect that title because now I have to not only protect the title, but protect my investments because I can't control Brock Lesnar anymore. And I have to control my environment, which would be Monday Night Raw. Correct. So, and you would think he would want the title to be on Monday Night Raw. He would need that championship to be on Raw. So if there were ever a time, this is the best. You know, and I jumped the gun a month too early. You know, I said it was going to happen last month. I'm sticking with my guns because I think you'll get more out of it at SummerSlam. And that was me trying to rush things. But I get a different feeling out of this that, and just like where Rollins said, I guarantee it sounds a lot like Heyman saying, this isn't a spoiler. This isn't a prediction. This is a spoiler. Yeah. You know?
I thought Bully Ray made a really good point when it came to this. When the good guy says that he's making a promise, you got to deliver. Yeah, one way or another, right? So
if they keep Seth a good guy, I don't know. I don't know, man.
I think Seth is gonna be doing a heel turn soon.
It's not a bad idea, actually.
Yep.
Wasn't Bret Hart really big when it came to like promises and guarantees? Like when the screw job happened, I was 3 years old, so I didn't get to like really take in how he was as a champion during that time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was also the time you stopped watching for a couple of years.
I was in it. Well, yeah, I was totally in it during that.
I was 0, so
it was way before you were even thought of.
Yeah, you're -50.
Yes.
It was
I was 0.
That was way back in the 1900s, kid.
Okay, the 1900s wasn't that long ago, kid. It was 20 years ago, kiddo.
Well, this would have been 22 years ago.
Hey, don't say that to Jonathan Abram. He'll be upset if you call him a young boy.
Yeah, right. That dude needs to settle down. I'm already not getting a good feeling about him.
Kiddo.
No, kid is one thing. Kiddo's a term of endearment. Kid is
Yeah.
Rook was that the thing he was getting upset about? Rook.
Yeah, right.
Jeez.
The label says rookie, but you know.
All right, man. That's pretty much it for SummerSlam predictions. We kind of went through this really quickly, actually.
We did.
Yeah.
AJ, was there anything else you wanted to mention before we end the segment this week?
We didn't really get to talk about Rowan taking out Roman. Turn that M upside down.
Yeah. Yeah.
No one else is having fun with that. Roman and Rowan. Come on. Fun.
Do we have any info on the T-shirt he was wearing? I knew it was a new band.
No, we didn't check it because I was getting ready for we were trying to muscle through it as quick as we could because I was getting ready for Mass Comedian X cast, and we kind of caught the gist of the end, but didn't really catch the end. You know what I mean?
I think I missed it.
You did. You actually, you did miss it.
Because I think I was going to the bathroom.
You were. Now, the world knows about that.
Well, I mean, I didn't mean to, but hey.
Hey, man. Anything else you want to mention, AJ?
So last thing I wanted to mention, as much as I do want to talk about the thing with Rowan and Roman, I do want to say please tune in to NXT TakeOver this Saturday. I think it's gonna be very
wrestling. You got a match or something?
No,
I'm running.
No. I'm just gonna say that I'm very excited for it, especially the match with Shayna Baszler and Mia Yim. I am excited for, so please tune in at least for that, guys. And thank you so very much.
Love some Mia Yim.
Yes. Bye.
There we go. There you have it.
Through the eyes of a 9-year-old. By the way, Brett Carter, I know you listen to the show. You've been slipping, my man. You've been slipping. Man.
He was born slippy.
I mean, Kane has more credibility now as the director of operations at this time.
Somebody's going to get my born slippy reference out there, goddammit.
Brother Carter, man, where's the thoughts of doo-doo?
Exactly where they belong, in the toilet. They got canceled.
Oh, God. I wonder if he comes up with a new song when he does the segment again.
I think he's still hiding from police, right? Didn't he take out a couple people in Canada?
Oh, God.
I seen he got an office. It looks like a kill room.
Oh, stop. Oh, man. All right. Before we head out for the show, we do have to talk about Hard Knocks.
Yes.
Raiders back in action. They're the featured team for Hard Knocks this season. By the way, I think it's cool they're uploading the episodes on their YouTube channel. So,
awesome.
Really quick shout out to the Raiders for that. I don't know if it was scripted or not, that opening part where Gruden was like, I'm into fucking nightmares. This is not the peach cobbler ball or whatever he was saying.
I think that's Gruden, man.
If that's Gruden, man, that dude is freaking insane.
He's not. He is insane, man. Chucky is out of his gourd. I'm concerned about AB's feet. That's not a good sign because you kind of need your feet. It's a pretty important part of football, American football. Any football. But yeah, I'm not getting a good after that first episode of Hard Knocks. I'll admit I'm not feeling as confident in my Raiders because it just seems like people got their clown shoes on and they're not football focused. But neither here nor there.
Next week, they're having a joint practice with the LA Rams for their preseason game.
Yeah, that's going on right now.
It's tonight.
No, the show's next week, but they're tape or they've been practicing all week.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Before you know it, I think maybe at the end of the month we'll probably make our predictions for football.
Already will. The Raiders are going to go 8-8 and not make playoffs. There,
just like that.
There we go. It's simple. It's simple with the Raiders. If AB doesn't play a full season, we're going 6-10. There we go. All right, Josh, let me ask you a question.
Go ahead, brother.
So I've been talking about enough. How much Tool did you listen to on streaming services over the weekend?
I listened to
none. See, I can tell by the pause. It's none. She's been instant.
No, be quiet. I listened to an hour and a half of Tool while doing paperwork last Friday, and it was a lot of fun.
It's like I'm listening to these songs for the first time all over again. It's been great. I've listened to so much Tool this past week. And listen, Josh, remember last week when I was like, hey, people are going to be mad when they're at the top of the charts with everything? They had five albums in the top 8 on iTunes at one point this week. So I'm sure all of you are going to be sick of Tool by the end of this month. But now, and I'm using Google Play's stats on there, but Google Play's stats, I'm going to talk most overrated Tool song, most underrated Tool song. And I'm judging by where it was all ranked. Most over, and listen, I love every Tool song, but I think Ticks and Leeches is overrated, and Flood is severely underrated. It's like the least listened to song on Google Play. That song's amazing. What's wrong with you people? What's wrong with these people, Josh, is they listen to Maynard, but they can't hear Maynard. They listen to Adam Jones, but they can't hear Adam Jones. They listen to Justin Chancellor, but they cannot hear Justin Chancellor. And, man, you can't help but hear Danny Carey. You're listening to Danny Carey, but do you hear Danny Carey? See, people don't hear Tool. They think they listen to Tool, but they don't. They don't even hear Tool, man. I hear Tool. Fear Inoculum got the itch in me again.
I don't think it's only Tool. It's life too. They don't hear or read.
Yeah, right.
On that note, we're gonna let Adam cool off and refigure himself. You know.
Yeah, it's been a long day, and I got to be up to go to the office very early. So it's I've meetings all weekend, and along with all this stuff, and I was a little unexpected hospital trip today for myself, so I'm need some rest.
By the way, quick shout out to StreamYard, as you see in the logo of this video. I'm really bummed out that Google Hangouts are away, because that's been like the easiest way for me to get the audio and upload it quickly on the podcast. But I'm glad that we're able to do this for the first time, and no issues, no technical issues. You hear me, I hear you.
Big shout out to Ace and Mass Comedian X for recommending StreamYard to us.
Mm-hmm. Go check out their show, by the way. It's very, very good.
Yeah, please do, guys. They're awesome, and they're two guys that really have fun with the business, and they're really good. And Ace does another podcast with Wes Briscoe too. It's the Briscoe and Big Ace show. Make sure you guys are checking that out too. I mean, that's a hell of a lot of fun to listen to too.
Yes. Also, go support the good brother Nick Giacobbe. Nick is about to have his associate's degree in broadcasting soon.
Already. It's like he's growing up right in front of our eyes.
Yeah. That's a good brother that busts his ass, man. I'm very happy for him. I remember talking about broadcasting with his dad, because I met him and his dad in Orlando. One of the few good people I actually met in Orlando. Mm-hmm. That's another story for another time, but God damn, pal. Yeah, I'm very happy for him, because this is something that he's wanted to do his entire life. So he'll do a good job of it. So I'm very proud of him.
It's always good to follow your dreams, man.
Yes, sir. By the way, give a shout out to real quick AJ. Again, great job as always. Thank you guys so much for supporting the podcast. This will be available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the preseason football for your football teams. And that's pretty much it. For the Clown Prince, I'm Joshie. Thank you guys so much for checking out episode 167 of the Hoots podcast, and we'll talk to y'all next week. Peace.